Tammie Chrin from KDP for B2B, and that stands for Kindle Direct Publishing for Business to Business. I have Vicki Conley with us today, and she is a fabulous person and a fabulous student of KDP for B2B. And she so gladly said she would talk to us about what KDP for B2B is all about and how it's worked for her and her business. So she, like I said, was so glad you came and you said you would do this with me, and just love having you, share your experience today with how this KDP world has worked for you, print on demand, and how you're using your KDP for B2B business and where you're taking that. And so I just wanted to let everybody know today we're going to talk about 30 minutes. So we're going to keep it as short. We respect your time as well. But I just wanted to give you some of the highlights, because we can only do highlights because Vicki has so many wonderful things going on, and we could go on for hours, couldn't we, Vicki? And talk about all of her great things she does for all her businesses. But we're going to mostly stay with the KDP for B2B side of it, because I wanted to share with you her experience with what that has been like and how that is working for her. Because I get this question quite a bit, Vicki, about how do I run my own KDP for B2B business? So that's Kindle Direct Publishing for Business to Business. And, everybody's kind of wants to know, can I do it? Will it work for me? And obviously, I am the founder of it, so I think it's a fabulous way to run a business. But I'm so happy to share your story with everybody and let you, tell them how it actually works for you and what you've been doing with it. So I'll let you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about how we met and how this all kind of came about really quick. And then I have a few questions for you, so I'll let you go.
Sure. Thanks, Tammie. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I'm honored to be here. And the one thing that I just think is the coolest is I already knew you were from Colorado, and I live in Colorado. But I just assumed you lived down near Denver, because I think that's what your profile said. And when we reached out, we found out we live like one interstate exit apart from each other.
That was crazy to find out, for sure. So we got to meet in person, which was always fun.
10 minutes away.
And we did not realize that when we met online that we knew we lived in the same state, but we didn't realize we actually lived like 10 minutes away from each other. And so that worked out really well. And then later on, we actually did talk and found out, where do you live? And we were able to grab a quick lunch, and it was really fun. So
it was, and we need to do that again one of these days when it warms up. It's kind of cold.
Yes, we have cold weather right now, and so we're all bundled in. So tell us a little bit about your story, Vicki. I know you've been in print on demand, KDP, the Kindle Direct Publishing with Amazon's platform. But tell us a little bit, how did you get started in your business of, say, the Amazon space?
Okay, well, it started with Yahoo Auctions back in 2001, 2002. And then that led to eBay, which led to going to many eBay events and meeting all sorts of people in the e-commerce space. I started with Amazon in 2014. Before that point, I was already going to the ASD trade show that happens in Vegas twice a year. I'd been going there for several years, and I'd built up my inventory every year. I'd buy more and more. And I still have a basement full of products that I'm working on getting rid of and downsizing, because now that I've discovered the KDP market and the merch market, I've been dabbling with merch since merch came out. Like, I don't even know, what year was that? 2016?
Yeah, I think it's around 2016.
I think so.
KDP was 2014.
Yeah.
I came out a little bit before. There's many years. Yeah, it's hard to remember all the stuff. But how what I love about that you do both with KDP and merch, because I do it as well, because it really pulls it together in the KDP for B2B market. So we can kind of talk about that too, is how you can use both platforms, which is both on Amazon, and you can create merch, which is t-shirts and pop sockets and what else do they have? Pillows I now and
Hoodies.
hoodies, shirts, t-shirts,
Yeah.
long women's shirts, long t-shirts. But it's just a great way to connect with your business doing KDP with the business owners that you can create the merch with. So we'll kind of leave it at that because it's a little bit more in depth.
Right.
But it's great that you have both businesses going because they kind of feed into each other.
Right, right. And I always thought KDP was too hard. I didn't want to go there. Merch,
Yeah,
it was pretty easy to, well, it was like the thing for a while there, and
sure.
it was
Yeah.
easy to follow along. There was a lot of training out there, a lot of Facebook groups, and but back in the back of my mind, I wanted to do a low content book. I like journaling myself. I
Right.
find it very therapeutic. I like the feel of pen on
Just
paper.
writing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I I like that, and a friend of mine had created her own book,
Uh-huh.
and she had a vision board party, 2015, I think it was,
Okay.
and I bought her book, and I faithfully used it for that year. So the next year actually, she hadn't even come out with another one yet, and I messaged her on Facebook and said, "Hey, I need a new book. I need to buy your book. Where's it at?" And she's like, "Oh, I haven't even made one yet." So so I was kind of impressed there, where it was just a couple days, and she says, "Oh, hey, I have a book out there. Go ahead." And I'm like, "Okay, I should learn how to do this myself. I
Right.
should figure this
Right.
out." And back to ASD, my friend Catherine Shelton, she
Mhm.
would always teach a course. Her and her husband Isaac Gonzalez have tangent templates, which
Right.
they teach a workshop, not a course, but they have a workshop
Workshop.
that they do in Vegas for free for people that are attending the show. And I did it 2 years in a row. The second year, I didn't have my laptop with me, but I took the notes home. And it was August of 2018, because that's when my first book was published. So I remember
Okay.
that now.
That's great.
And I followed her notes, and I put together, this was my very first book, and
Oh, that's great.
and
Yeah.
I called it Hippie Doodles. Hippie Doo is my brand name, and it's just,
The
totally
lines.
lined
Yep.
pages. And so
Mhm.
I was kind of embarrassed of it. And my daughter, she told me, "Oh, great, Mom, you're an author of a book of blank pages." And I'm like, "Woohoo, yeah." But hey, I did it. I did it.
That's great. But you
So
know what? You did it, and that's the biggest
yeah,
step is doing your first one. We hear it so many times in the group. It's like, well, I just, mine was just lines too. It was a journal with lines. That's my
yeah,
first book, and they call that low content. If you're new to this, it's low content. And so that's what we started doing was these low content journals, and it's actually fun to do. I enjoy doing KDP itself, but it just wasn't really bringing in the income anymore to the level where I wanted it to be, and that's where the KDP for B2B came in.
right.
And then we'll let you continue with
Right.
your
Well,
story.
and I believe I'm the only person that has bought this book.
Yeah, I had a few of those myself. My
Yeah,
sister bought one of my journals. I was
but
so
hey, it's a
excited.
good conversation starter at
Mhm.
networking groups or something. If I'm attending a conference, and I need a book that I need to take notes in, that I don't want to lose this book,
Right.
I bring this book. It's like, "Oh yeah, that's my brand." And
Right.
and I've used it digitally now for marketing purposes, and
Mhm.
showing people, "Hey, this is how you can get your own book." Because
Right.
I do market to and for local businesses and brands,
Mhm.
and this was just, it was a layer that was easy for me to add to all the different things I do. I could add a
Mhm.
journal for this theme. I can add a journal for this theme,
Mhm.
and and so it's now something that I can offer for my clients.
Right.
Hey, have you thought about having a book? A book can provide this sort of value for your client, And if they have a high ticket item to sell, it could become a low cost lead generation
Right.
for them,
Right. So
providing
let's
value.
let's talk about, so we're talking about basically branded booklets for businesses. So not just for your business, but you're taking this now, which this is what KDP for B2B is all about, is going
Yeah, I
out
just
to.
kind of jumped right into that, didn't I?
That's okay. Yeah, that's what we, it's all, it's just so exciting. But I just wanted to clarify, because I know sometimes people get a little bit, we're doing journals and you can just sell those on Amazon. You don't have to go out to businesses. But this model is actually going out to businesses. So when we were doing, I think we were doing this at the same time, doing our journals, they weren't selling as fast or at really. My sister was the only one that bought my line journal.
Yeah.
So then that's where KDP for B2B started. And I think this is where you started going down your path too, is with going out to businesses. So we're going out to businesses, talking to businesses and having them, they may have a workshop. We could create a book for their workshop. We can create a book, a journal, a line journal, but we're branding it for their business. So we're putting their information on the back of the book. This is, again, more of a line journal style, but this is branded for this business right here. And it's, it's a KDP book. So we created this KDP book. We put a picture of the owner, a little quote about what her business is. Now this becomes her business card. And that's where you kind of took this a little bit differently. You went through to these as a business card.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so,
it's my book
yeah,
on that, using a book as a biz card.
yeah, and I thought that was great. I think it's the same principle as what we, it's just a little bit of a spin about using it as a business card, because I think in one of my videos I've mentioned people don't really throw books away. So that's where we went into this direction, is because they do throw business cards or get lost or put away in a drawer somewhere, but a book, a branded book with the company's name and logo and phone number and contact information and QR codes and all that information right there, they don't tend to toss it away.
Right.
And then if you put in something like a checklist or their workbook or journal or whatever, that person has it in their hand quite often. And so that's where I thought yours was very fascinating by using it as a business card. You're going right to the meat of that one. So I thought I'll let you explain a little more about that.
Well, and it's interesting too. I did have somebody bring this up. I was having a consultation with them, and when I quoted my pricing to her to do this, and she's like, "Oh, that's that's like a little out of our budget range."
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I was thinking it might be if I'm replacing a business card, I need it to be a little bit more cost effective than that. I said, well, this really isn't to replace a business card. So maybe I need to work on my title a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But one thing, you don't have to have the physical book. Once you have your book is live, all you need is the link, and
Right.
and you can create mock-ups. I'm getting you can create mock-ups, sharing your book,
Mm-hmm.
video ads, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the actual physical copy of the book, but
Right. But the thing that we talk about too in the group a lot is like branded booklets for realtors. Well, realtors, this is a checklist that we've created for a local realtor here. Same thing, her information, her picture, all that. It's just, what's great about that is when a customer will say that to me about, well, I need to be more cost effective for, business cards versus this. And we're not saying get rid of business cards. What we're saying is this is added value. This is added value for that client. And the pricing of these books can be very reasonable for what they do for you, because this book is a checklist that the getting your home ready to sell. Well, that means they're going to pull this out and start keeping track. So you're giving them a gift. It's like a gift as well, but they have the business contact information. And so that's always going to be in front of that client or customer or friend. And they feel like they've gotten something like, oh, I can just check off. I've got to, get my declutter my house. I've got to, pick up unnecessary belongings, clean my walls. You do this little checklist. They feel like they got something of value, where a business card is great, but it doesn't have that value added. And this is a value added product for a business, and it stands out. You stand out, So I think your business card idea is great. I loved when you told me your story. I think that that is something that is just another way to use KDP for B2B, is to kind of just that angle. And I think you've shared that, and it's just so fantastic. So on that note, what is something are you a graphic designer, by the way? Do you have any background in graphic design?
No, not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. Just Canva. Just
Yeah.
practice and dabbling with Canva. And like in this example, this was just a stock photo. A stock photo I pulled in, just used a basic font, and I know a little bit more now where I can dress them
Yeah.
up a little bit, but I still have very limited graphic skills. And I let people know that going in, but then they see some of the covers that come out and they're like, really? I mean,
Yeah. Well, the great thing about Canva and all we have other companies called the Doodoo Book Creator that we love to use, that I like to use. There's so many pieces of different things that you can use, but Canva is such a great tool to use to create these books. I do not have a graphic design background either, and that's one of the things everyone's like, do you have a graphic design? But we have to remember too, with these business books that we're talking about, whether it's a checklist or these things that you have, you can you get a lot of the logo, a lot of the imagery from the business. So you don't have to be this, like when we did our KDP books, we're trying to sell to an audience that wasn't, we're trying to make it pretty, or a saying on there that was catchy, a marketing way. These branded booklets for the business, they have all the marketing information. So you're going to take all the imagery, all of their, logos, any type of fonts, any type of colors they like to use, and add them to the book. So you don't have to come up with branding colors and all these different things. They've already usually have all that for you. So you just add them to the book. And I think in makes it so much easier. The other thing that is really a great way is that you're just taking their content and adding it to sometimes the interior. They already have a workshop, a course, a program. They already have all of that ready to go. And that was something I came across when I did this book here, was she already had her program going. And this was in her 3-ring binder that we created, the same content.
I think that's right. I think watching your video with her was what prompted me to buy your course. Like,
thank you.
Because I was already, I'd been working on this idea for like 2 years.
Yeah. I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
You were kind of like,
so slow, and it's like, yes, she's teaching what I want to do. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and the great thing too, a little bit too, is what we teach is basically you can get a setup fee. So when we're doing KDP books alone, you make a royalty every time a book is sold. So you have no inventory. You can create books and keep putting them online. But if you can't sell them, there's mass amounts of these journals and all that. Now, if you have something creative and it catches, or it's a trend or a niche, those can do well for a while, but somebody might jump on it, or, there's all things that change. With these businesses, you they can charge a setup fee, which you don't do in KDP alone. So you set up and we've talked about that, and that's what's in the course. And we'll talk a little bit more about the KDP for BB course and how that was for you. But that basically will show you how to do the setup fee, then how much to charge per book, so that you're making a reoccurring income every time they sell the book, because the business is now going to drive traffic to these books. And that's the beauty of this. It's not that it's on their KDP account, it's on your KDP account. So then once you get these books, they're driving the traffic to them because they're selling their course or their business, buying more business cards like yours. You keep making a revenue on that.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to
I'm
start
not
that.
there yet, but
But
we're
you're
work
but you're
yep,
you're putting those pieces in place.
yep,
So
yep.
let me ask you, so what come like one of your favorite parts of creating these branded booklet or business booklets for businesses, business cards, sorry, I keep
That I
changing the
can
names.
do it fast.
Okay, so you can do it fast.
You can do it fast. Yep.
And
And
when you say fast, about how long do you think it takes you to get one done about for a business?
well, I'm working on getting a system together where I already have like the 3 front pages
Mm-hmm.
that all I have to do. I have one because Amazon always assigns. I allow Amazon to assign the
ISBN number.
yeah, ISBN
Mm-hmm.
number. And so I have a custom page set up where I put that number in. And then for my
Mm-hmm.
clients, I let them know that there's extra space there if they want to add like a quote or something about their business or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a this book belongs to page. And then I always like to do a black and white rendition page of what their cover looks like for the very first page.
Yeah.
So, and you can finish those in like 3 minutes in Canva.
Yeah, so once you get kind of like a templated
Yes,
style going,
yes,
then you can just plug in the different elements that come
yeah.
from the
And
business.
yeah, and then if all they're doing is filling it with a template page of just a line journal, that's something
Mhm.
I can now. So somebody that is, concerned with price, it's like, well, hey, for this amount, let's just get you started with a line journal and see how it goes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then if they want something additional from that, got I at least have their foot in my door.
Yes, yes.
So, and I
Yeah.
have them as a client. So that's
Yeah,
the angle
and
I'm
that's where
doing for now.
the merch can come into play with this too, Vicky, is we create these branded booklets for these businesses or business cards, and then they need t-shirts, pop sockets,
Yeah,
anything else. And I know we
yes,
both have some people that we use here locally if there's something else that
right,
needs to be done, like a mug or something that they don't have on Amazon. We have resources that we both use, and it's a great way because they've already like and trust you, so they're going to start asking you
right,
for other merchandise. And I always say, why not have an avenue to get that to
right.
them or somebody else to serve that. But in merch, is just the t-shirts alone, that seems to be
Yeah,
a really good. Sometimes I have a client, one of my books, she does big events, and then they buy all the t-shirts for
right,
the staff to wear at the event, and they have some they give away and all that, but you don't have to have all the inventory like you would,
right, right. Well,
as all that.
and then back to being fast. If you've already got those pieces put together, if something is trending and maybe it relates to one of my clients' businesses, I could say, hey, shall we put a notebook together with this topic? And then I always like to buy domains. It's like, oh, hey, I looked up this domain name and it's available.
Yep,
this
yep. So
this could
you're
be the name of our book. and
Yeah, there
and
you
then
go.
yeah, and that makes it easy for them to promote the book too. So that's a tip that I
Yes,
like to give people is
that's a good tip.
to
That's a
look
really good tip.
when
And
you're
what's
thinking
kind
of a
of the
book.
hardest thing for you, you think, in the KDP for B2B model for you to kind of that you
Well,
find it's a little
it's right at
overwhelming?
this point, it's probably closing clients, having the confidence in myself that
Hmm.
I'm going to be able to handle the job that comes in
Yes.
and
Yeah.
being able to actually close the deal. I'm I'm getting better at pitching the deal, and I have several pitches out there.
Hmm.
Uh, one of my big ones, and I still haven't closed them yet. They pretty much told me like a month and a half ago, yes, they want to do this because they have PDFs that they're putting in 3-ring binders, and I
Hmm.
explained to them the benefits of that. And it's a 55 plus resort community here in Windsor where I live, and they want to be able to create like a welcome book. and to hand
Yeah.
out. And they wanted a couple other people involved in the project. And ever since they've added those other two people, I haven't been able to get connected with
Yeah.
them to get a decision
And
made.
this happens, and I just want to make sure, like, I have a wedding planner client right now, and it's taken me a year. It sometimes just takes them time, not even a year. It's been probably 8 months, but my first conversation with them, it kind of digests it. When we have another conversation, and it kind of goes, okay, and then, you just keep planting that seed, or putting those lines in the water. It kind of like just planting the seed, because then they come back as soon as you keep doing that, they start coming around. And matter of fact, tomorrow I have we're sitting down and figuring out the plan for this wedding planner. But we're right in the middle of her wedding season. It was a busy time, but they do come around. So don't get discouraged, is my biggest thing, is don't get discouraged when someone takes longer, or something changes or something, because all of a sudden they start popping up here and there, and you've already planted that seed. It just takes a little bit of time. And I always say not to worry about trying to sell it. It just sort of happens in a conversation. People ask you all the time, what do you do for a living? I create branded book lists for businesses. That's what I do. And then I usually have them with me, show a couple of them, if it's appropriate time, or I set up a time to meet with them if it works better. But you're just thinking of filling the need. Like, I never think of selling as selling. I don't have to pitch anything. I just talk about what I do. And it could be somewhere randomly, chiropractor one time, met a realtor there. We were waiting for a chiropractor. Next thing you know, here we are, creating books for them. So I don't want anybody to get a little bit just like, I'm not great with people, or I'm online presence. I mean, gosh, how many coaches and groups in Facebook could you just reach out and say, would you like your workbook? People ask, what do? You put it in there. I create workbooks for businesses. Then people just reach out to you. So you don't even have to be that scared or have it all perfect.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, you're doing a good job, Vicki.
Well, and that's another thing that I really do love about KDP is it doesn't have to be perfect the first time, because you can upload it again.
Right. I mean, right. And if a company needs to make changes, if a business needs to make changes, say their website changed or their address changed, you just can update that. And if you choose to make a fee, you can add a little fee, because it is your time. I'm always trying to tell my students if it takes time, you need to charge for it. Now, there's different ways to do that. Could be in more of a package. You can say, I can do 2 upgrades for you if something changes. You can create this whole plan for yourself, but you do need to get paid for what you do, because it is a service.
Yes.
And I get this question too. Well, can't the business owners just do it? Yes, they can, but they don't have the time. Business owners are busy running their own company.
There is a learning curve.
There's a learning curve. And, it's like anything. It's like, can I just get the books? They don't want, they're not going into the book business, know?
Right.
So yes.
And there's tools that you can buy to make the job easier. And in fact, I had my first paid client this month.
Yay!
So, or wait, what month is this? This is still January,
is January,
right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes, I had my first paid client this month. I bought Cindy's tool, the Adudu.
Cindy, Adudu book creator. That's a great tool. Yeah.
Yep. And
I'll drop the link in the post here too.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find what I made here. Well, she has a word search tool, and I did fabulous. I put a Canva background in there, and this is things you'd find in a pet store. And then I made it. Oh, this isn't
a laminate.
It has my business.
The laminate.
I laminated it, and then I made it as a business card on the back. And she loved that idea, and she's in the process of publishing her own book, but she wanted to add. She just needed the words. I said, oh, sure, I could do that. It was, really easy to do. She just messaged me the words she wanted. I put them in the puzzle tool, and within 5 minutes, I had what I needed, and was able to provide her with that file. And
the thing I want to clarify too is, so when we're talking about Canva, we create a lot of the visuals and everything in Canva, and then they do book creator tool that actually could create the puzzles and do a lot of those things, and your covers and all those things. So we actually use both tools together. They combine together. And I have some videos and I'll have the links to those for the tools that
but
we
there's
use.
where the learning curve is. It's like you
Like
gotta
anything, yeah.
know you got to know how to use all of those tools. You've got to know how they incorporate
Interact.
together, and sometimes you have
Yeah.
to pay for some of those tools.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, but it makes your life easier and quicker. Like Canva is a free, you can do the free version. A book creator can do the free version. But, as anything, to get more advanced, you have to pay for the tool, and they're very reasonably the cost to them. But as for a business tool that you're using and making money, and that's what's great about having this KDP for B2B is you can charge an upfront fee. Like I charge, I'll just tell you, I charge $300, depending on the project, but $300 upfront, $300 on the back end when the book is done. So I make $600 on the average per book, or per project, I should say, not per book. And then I put a fee on there, say of $5 on it, to make a royalty for every book sold that I take home that goes on my KDP account. So there's a way to make money by creating. It takes you time to create these books. It's not just quick and easy, fast. It takes a little. You got to reach out to the client. You got to get the information. There's a time. It's a business. You're running a business. It's not just. It can be a side
right,
hustle, but it is a business still.
right.
And so you have to pay yourself to do the job.
Yeah, I was gonna say creating the book part is fast, but all the forward and backward behind stuff,
Yes.
that's what can take a while.
Yeah. And what I charge doesn't mean you have to charge that. I'm just always, I like to share that, just because people always ask me how much I charge. And it depends on the project too. Some projects are bigger than others. I have to charge more, some are less. And if you had to have these books done by other people who are in the publishing industry, it's thousands of dollars. So don't undervalue yourself. Even at my 600, it's a great rate, but I also get a royalty every time a book is sold. So that's how I justify making 600, because it's thousands of dollars to put these books together if you go to a printing company and a graphic designer and all the other stuff you do. And they're great and they're worth it. But I'm just saying, this is another way to, if you have a client who cost is kind of a little bit tight, you can up your royalty fee. So maybe you do a $6, $7 fee, and you can charge a little less, or you figure out your own numbers. This is your own business, but I'm just letting you know that how you can make the money doing this.
You can play with the numbers. Play
The
with
numbers are flexible. This
Yeah.
is, like I said, this is your business. You can do whatever, how you feel. If you want to get a few under your belt and you just want to have, complimentary or whatever, you can do it that way. I mean, we go through a lot of this in our course of how to do that. And so you took the KDP for B2B course, and can I ask you, what was kind of the biggest thing that you took away from the course, and how would it help other people?
Oh, and we talked about this question before we went live. It's like, oh, that was so long ago I took the course, and I'm thinking, oh, it was like 4 months. So it's like in KDP years.
Yeah, KDP years.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had the ideas in my head that,
Hmm.
and I was already on that path. So what your course helped me do, it helped me tie it all together and bring it together. The pricing strategy helped. I pretty much copied your pricing strategy on what I
Hmm.
do. I don't quite charge $600, now in the
Yeah.
beginning, but
But once you
I
get
don't have
people
that
under your belt.
experience that you have,
Hmm.
on doing that. I see the value of getting the clients in now, getting more clients in now at a lower price, which will give me the practice going forward. And I'm also working with a friend that has a nonprofit, and
Okay.
we're going to
Yeah.
be I'm going to be spending a week with her in Florida at her house, and bringing my laptop, and we're going to be working on this project, and working on ways on how we can enhance her book. We've already put a book together for her, and it's more caregivers caregiver's grief journal guidebook type thing.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to add caregiver inserts and make it add more value for the recipient who's going to be using
that's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many options, and we do talk about all the different ways to use this system. I mean, you can go to nonprofit, you can go to
Right. And then they're using it as a
businesses.
fundraiser.
A fundraiser, yes.
She's buying the author copies, and then on their website is where they're selling their journal. So
yeah, perfect. So yeah, I think I'm glad to hear that the pricing was one of the meats of the program, the course that we have, and I'm glad that was able to just give you that little nudge. I know you had the KDP experience, which we do go through that as well. Breaking down how to sign up for KDP. If you're brand new to KDP, but if you already have KDP experience, those just learning what to market to, where the pricing should be, how to price it. All the things that you described, I think will be really helpful. And so how can people reach you, Vicki?
Well, I do have my contact information set up. It's scrolling below, bizcardbook.com. You can join my subscription list there. I don't even know if I have it set up to send a reply out yet, but I do have it set up to collect names so I don't lose track of people, because I want to move forward with this project. And if people are interested in following along, I do have a Facebook group that I have set up, and I have a link to that Facebook group through this site.
Yeah, I'll put all of your information in the notes with this.
I'm also I'm putting together a digital course called the 5-Day Book of Blank Pages Challenge.
Great. Yeah.
Encouraging people to just get started,
just get started. Yeah.
I break up about an hour or so worth of video content into 5 days, and not even an hour. I think my longest video is 7 minutes. So
perfect. That's great. Well, I'll put all your information into the notes here. If you're in our Facebook group, you could always tag Vicki Conley in a group if you have questions. She's in our Facebook group as well for KDP for B2B. I just want to thank you, and I can't wait to follow your success. And we'll do another interview and talk about all the great things you're doing. I know you have a lot of projects coming up, and I get very excited to hear about how everyone's doing. And if anybody's doing this business and they want to reach out to me, I love hearing your stories. That's what Vicki did, and it's been a pleasure just hearing your success stories and watching your business grow with you. And I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for helping me along on this journey. It's been awesome.
It's been my honor and my privilege. Oh my goodness. That was bad, huh? privilege that kind of came out. All right, well, we better let these guys go, and I appreciate you, and thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. All right, bye, everybody.